Uranium friends, been off for a couple of days. Looking at charts, let's take a look together. Anfield Energy, it's again key levels getting broken are tough, right? And this is follow through, so yeah, maybe down to start seeing what happens down here. Um, I'm looking to add, but I'll be stingy, so I would love to see it down here. Um, the weekly is holding its 12 EMA, but this is, for Anfield, it's not like the most positive sign, in my opinion, only because it loves to undercut all of these moving averages. So, to me, like the 200-day moving average would be the metric for me for Anfield, right? So, I mean, it's just a rider all the way down. And now it's a rider back up. So, back 200-day tests of the 200-day moving average would make sense. And to me, probably a buying opportunity. The daily on the past 2 days, I mean, this thing's just been getting smoked. All right. So here's your 50-day moving average. It's sitting right on it. You got another level coming up. Um, I'll be interested down here, honestly, unless like some sort of flip in the sector itself. So, broad market weakness, not going to, um, uranium's not going to be immune to that with everything going down, except maybe gold and silver. So that's the deal, Anfield. Not great. ASPI, I haven't looked at my broker, but I did put my stop in, so I'm sure I'm stopped out. Not looking good either, right? So, yeah, could have flip over right away and turn around. Yeah, let's see. You know, this was interesting to me, this piece of news. So they do have, they're getting some contracts, which is a good deal, right? So, like to me, ASPI is something I'm always going to be keeping an eye on from going forward, forgetting about um, the uranium sector in general. Nuclear medicine has its uses, right? So, but this is, these rejections, you got to pay attention to stuff like this, right? And that's just why I trim to profit. So you had a couple of these breaks of this level, and it just didn't hold. There was no follow through. So it would make sense that things go down. So when this starts to happen to you, you get some trims out. Maybe that's exactly what I did, and I put my stop below this level. So it was a low risk play for me. And it's probably very low profit, if any, or maybe a small loss. So that's the deal with ASPI weekly. 12 EMA rejection now, right? So who knows where, we have to just wait and see. Like for me, I'm just waiting to see with ASPI what's happening here because this is a big deal, right? Rode this weekly 12 EMA up since July of 2023. Couple small undercuts here, right? So, but what's the indicator, right? We start to see these lower wicks. That means it's getting acceptance here. So, we've got this volume profile. It's starting to test this little area here. Uh, stops may get triggered soon, which might push it down into this area. So just kind of watching ASPI now. I would assume I'm stopped out. I'll know tomorrow. But Bannerman, quite the day, right? Down almost 12%. Closing at the lows, right at the 12 EMA on the weekly. Not the greatest look. Inverted hammer, slight amount of buying here, little gap right here too. Um, I sold Bannerman up in here. I will be looking to reload Bannerman, hopefully down here. Just keeping an eye on it for now because let's see what the weekly's doing. Weekly's okay. We got these levels. I have my alert set to that because it's coming down into these levels. It's gotten through this node here to the downside. That node should start acting as resistance on the way back up, unless it just blows right through for some reason. There's probably some nuclear FUD going on with the geopolitical situation in the Middle East as well. Not to mention Ukraine and Russia. So there's a lot of FUD going on that could easily make one an investor understand that in the high beta sector, in the nuclear sector, they could get smoked. So there people probably risking off. So let's see what happens when it gets down to this level. That's what I'm looking at Bannerman. Nothing wrong with this monthly chart. Like a lot of the space is setting up these monthly cup and handle looks. So this key level down here, the $1.82 on the U.S. side for Bannerman, it's a big level. Big level. Love to see it get down there personally. No offense to all you uranium nut jobs. Boss, it's holding this level, and it's coming into this 200-day moving average. It's probably, maybe I got to think about this. I can't be messing around with these Aussies too much. It doesn't fit my style. My style is more of position and hold. So we'll see. But there's a lot going on here in this area that boss will need to hold here. My suspicion is it will, and if it doesn't hold, then I'm worried about the entire space. To be honest with you, because boss is one of the strongest names in the sector, so it pays to pay attention. Right? Monthly 12 EMA and a 200-day moving average. Pretty good metrics. A lot of levels here. Little volume node. Right around the $2.70 range for Boss on the US side. Cameco, CCJ, monthly. We're still talking about this monthly little cup and handle look. We've got a better eye on it on this weekly, right? So it's still a good cup and handle. And, it's bull flagging here, which is fine. And even if it comes down to this 12 EMA around $45, still a bull flag, keeping the monthly cup, the weekly cup and handle alive. This little overshoot here, it's a little bit problematic as far as the actual pattern is concerned, but the psychology is here. This is kind of what I'm eyeing up. I got stopped out on whatever swing attempts I had. They're all in profit because they were buys down here. I trimmed a little bit up here, and I raised my stop up somewhere, probably right around here. So I think I got picked off. And the daily 12 EMA is technically holding. You want to see this. We want to get over this daily. We want to get over today's high. Is really what we'd like to do. And the hourly, whatever, 12 EMA rejection. So signs of reversal on CCJ will be right here in this hourly chart. So it's probably looking for a higher low compared to today's low. What was it? 46.27. CCJ people that want to be hopping on board, they don't want to lose this low from today. That's for sure. Denison. Same look, but it's actually kind of holding up a little bit better, I guess. Let me just see on this weekly. Yeah, 12 EMA still holding like this rider, but it's Denison, right? So it could do its undercuts to this 26 EMA. I will get stopped out at below $2. I forget exactly where my stop loss order is. It misses, it misses. No big deal. Just can reload. It's Denison. Big board name. Who cares? But again, same look as CCJ with this rounding cup and handle type of look, and a weekly bull flag still in play. I'm assuming. And we are down to, well, it's breached this 50% retracement. So this weekly bull flag is less likely because of that. It's close. Very, very close. Let's see. It bounced right on this 50% retracement right at this level here. So it's, the spot it was supposed to bounce to save it. Doesn't mean that that's going to happen. We'll see. That's all I can say. Denison, yay. Deep yellow took out last week's low. So this is, continuation of consolidation, right? This is all consolidation. Even though, I mean, it did confirm a weekly uptrend, but that's lost. Well, it's not even lost yet. It's got to lose this 82 area down here. But it's not the best look with this breach of last week's low. So deep yellow holding pattern, still in position here on this one. I wouldn't mind adding, honestly, but I've got to see these 200-day moving averages get tested on the Australian names for me to have some interest. And Bannerman is probably higher interest for me right now than deep yellow, only because I've sold out of Bannerman. So if I'm going to reload anything, it's going to be Bannerman. Yeah, the deep yellow. Yeah, it didn't do much today. They're a decent little bounce, these hourlies, but they're not doing much, right? This is just going down. We need a good reversal as quickly as possible. There are some levels to work off of. Just keeping an eye on it, but let's see what the monthly looks like. No issues on the monthly. Monthly looks absolutely fine, right? So as much as a short-term action can be painful, monthly looks good. You know, monthly looks good. Encore on the monthly looks fine, right? Most of the space is just looking like this, but some technical analysts will look at this all as one big move, right? So now you're into your monthly consolidation with your typical cup and handle pattern that the entire space is seeing. The weekly, let me take these fibs off for now. Get out. The weekly, there's a big rejection here. And it's the spot to have a rejection. Now, if we put new fibs on here on this, it's not going to be a good deal, I don't think, right? Yeah, so it's breached. This is your golden pocket. It's gone down to the 78% retracement, so this is a key level. Come on, give me my word. Let me get my word on here first. Yeah, so key level at the 78% retracement, 26 EMA. Encore likes to bounce and dance around this 26 EMA, right? We see that on the weekly. It's done it before. So keeping an eye on it. Let's see what the daily looks like. Yeah, it's an indecision doji. Closing right smack in the middle, right around this, support area. Just need to see a reversal. And that 4 hour doesn't look good either. So, things can change drastically in the markets in general in the space. All Israel has to do is lay off a little bit, and Iran not do anything, and but these rates are going up. And the higher rates kills the small caps, kills the mining sector. So uranium is not immune, regardless of the fundamentals. Fish in. Nice little bounce there on the hour. Let me see what's going on here. Yeah, fishing daily even held up pretty good, right? Didn't even lose yesterday's low. So not the worst. I'm sorry, this is the weekly. Let's see the daily. What's the daily? Yeah, daily held the 12 EMA, held this consolidation low. This was, the private placement was in here somewhere. So, it's really just wait and see, right? So, but it has not even taken out last week's low yet. So if this is the extent of the consolidation here, it's going to be pretty good. Fishing holders will be happy. That includes me. Global is getting smushed. Yeah, so this was that second, right? No, it was the second FUD. And it's testing those lows. So it would make sense that if these lows get taken out, this is going to be the next level. So, and if not, we're going back down here. There's not much to hold it up here. Global not looking good for all you glow boys. There are years and years of sitting in this name. Hopefully your entries are down here. Probably a long-term good play, I would guess, due to their asset and everything. But right now, no good. Let's look at cap. I haven't even looked at this one in forever. Yeah, same look as the rest of the sector, right? Your monthly cup and handle. And this is a good bit of consolidation here, and it's holding, right? So it's holding these key levels, 36, right? This alert thing is not going to work because it's so old. Yeah, see, yeah, holding this 36, 37 area. Good for Kazatomprom. Bad look on the weekly because it just wiped out all these levels, pushing its way down to the 200-day moving average. Weekly head and shoulders, neckline testing. Pays to keep an eye on that, right? Because Kazatomprom, big one in all the ETFs. Lotus has been usually a pretty strong one, still is, right? Well, I mean, look, it's a great chart. This is a great move, but again, it took out a lot of weekly levels in the past, just on this week, so that's always a little bit flaggy. But it's Lotus, right? So wiki. As long as these riders are holding, we're pretty good. Let me just see the daily. Great bounce, right? So Lotus is an interesting name actually. That's some buyer support right there. Pretty cool. Pretty cool to see. Lotus holding up decent. You know, monthly is fine, absolutely fine. This monthly could probably use some sideways action for the next leg up. But we'll have to just wait and see. Next gen on the monthly. Let's take a look at the weekly. Let's see where the damage was done today. Yeah, so took out levels. It's not what anybody wants to see. A little bit of a channel breach here also, but holding these 50-day moving averages. So, I mean, at this level, and, on the verge of losing trend here with this channel. So, next couple of days will probably be important for next gen. And if next gen loses levels, one could assume or make an assumption or be cautious of a lot of the space losing levels because next gen is one of the strongest and is a leader in the entire space. And I know some fundamental people do not agree with that, but it is what it is. Price action is the ruler. SMR, I know this is. I'm starting to have a little interest here in SMR because this bounce, the buyer support here, was interesting, right? But we have to at least get over the hourly 12 EMA for me to have full interest. But there's enough room here. It made enough room on this bounce on the next pullback to be a hourly higher low, and the 4-hour low at the moment is set because it took out the high. If you recall, if anybody followed me, my signal on the last SMR trade was right here when it took out this 4-hour high. That was my signal. Starting to see that signal again, right? But there were some differences, but not much. I mean, it had a golden pocket bounce here, so SMR will have my attention tomorrow, most likely, because now I've got a level to work off of too, and it's in here, and there's some previous action here. SMR is going to have my attention. U.UN took a little bit of a beat today, but good recovery. Yeah, decent recovery, but 12 EMA is now acting as rejection. Need to get past that in order to have any sort of thought process of a turnaround here. So the weekly 12 EMA is holding. Unlike the mining equities, these are not cup and handles, right? This is just, it's searching. At this point, we're hoping for a weekly high or low compared to this level. Let's see if this alert works. No. So that's the deal, and it seems to be bouncing off the 26 EMA on the weekly. Decent little metric to keep an eye on, I would guess. Yeah, the monthly higher low is set here uh, due to the fact that it took out last month's high. So, you know, it's kind of in the middle of a range that it's just kind of like no man's land. So it's tough to even say, hey, buy, sell, whatever. I'm just kind of hanging and watching. UEC weekly sideways chop, right? Pretty decent level to be holding. I would just say if this level gets lost, this 630, 620 area, big problem for UEC. I don't want to see that break, because these big board names are the ones that are leading everything else. Good bounce off a level it probably should have bounced off of, right? So good to go here so far. Let's see what the 4-hour tells us. Yep, 4-hour high OL was set. Actually, it's not, is it? No, it's not. It took this low out, but this low is set for now. So it's these 4-hour lows that occurred today are important for the very very short term um, attempts at reversals. More data needed. URA weekly. How's that look? Cup and handle ish. Not sure I like the breach here. Let's just see what this looks like. What's the nature of a cup and handle, right? So the right side doesn't take out the left, and a bull flag is formed. Is there a bull flag here? Not really. It's 50%. Once you get these fibs on and it retraces on to 50%, it's a lot less likely that this bull flag plays out. So worrisome. Golden pocket bounce for now. Daily, yeah. Good dip buying today off of some support levels. So there's that. So again, all these lows that were formed today, we just don't want to lose them because it would just be problematic for the space. Here's a bull flag that's still kind of holding up, right? URG on this weekly cup and handle look. Come on, you. Yeah, 50% retracement. It's kind of bouncing off of and it's holding this 12 EMA, which is at the 38% retracement. So not horrible, not great because it is breached, but supports are holding for now. All the lows of today are what's important. URG sideways on the month with this cup and handle action. So today's lows are going to end up being fairly important. Bounce off support. URNJ. Yeah. It's the one good positive thing is usually when I come on and make a video and saying technically things aren't looking good, we get the bounce. But let me just see this weekly. Yeah, it just took out 2 weekly levels, 3 today. So not the best, but this is where it's, after it breaches these moving average stack, the 26 EMA is kind of where it's been bouncing. So just have to see how that plays out, 4-hour. Doesn't look great. That's all I got to say. URNM weekly, same situation. Took out some levels, bounced at some support. Time will tell. This is just like no man's land for me. These are hammers. They don't necessarily have to turn out to make the reversals, but hammers are decent signs. But you want to see other things with your hammers. You don't just want to say, "Hey, it's a hammer. Let's go." Let's just hope that that's the case. But taking out all these levels, closing below the weekly 12 EMA, not the best look, but still with your monthly beautiful consolidation at the highs. So longer term charts look fantastic. Shorter terms, not so much. Uranium royalty, never been my favorite. Just continuing on this downward move. I guess uranium royalty would probably be interesting if it gets down here, right? So, I mean, I'm just not really playing UROY at all. I've said it many, many times. If I do play UROY, I'm just going to get some cheapo, long dated, in the money or close to in the money calls. That would be my play on UROY. The four U's, spoke about it over and over, these value areas. To me, it's important. I'd rather see, I want to stab at this thing in the lower part of this value area. And the weekly is breaching all these levels. So hey, maybe my wish comes true. I don't know. It's got to hold here. If it doesn't, it's coming down to test this stuff. Still, though, this previous support zone is now becoming resistance on the volume profile. I haven't looked at these futures in a while. Even this is not like the greatest because this weekly chart for the uranium futures, yeah, these guys, well, whoever says you can't chart these futures because it's opaque and blah blah blah. Okay, great, but guess what? It's a rider. It's been a rider. It's been riding this 12 EMA. Let me just look at this monthly for a second. It's literally been riding this monthly 12 EMA since November 2017, right? So that's on the monthly chart. So since November of 2017, UX1 uranium futures has been riding the 12 EMA on the monthly chart. So for it to test it at $78 wouldn't surprise me one bit. What does $78 test do for you? Well, it retests, it backtests this breakout zone, right? So, I could see it happening. I'm not saying it's going to. It's not going to surprise me, and it wouldn't be bothersome for me. Long term people in the space shouldn't care about it, right? Um, it would likely be a buying opportunity for those who have conviction. The weekly, it's lost this 12. It's riding the 12 now down. The 12 is being rejection. So let's start to see what happens at 78. Little gap here. $78 on the uranium spot price or the futures price seems to be a spot where it would not surprise me if it gets there. $78 wouldn't surprise me one bit. Daily's tough to see, but still, same deal, right? But the good thing is that the daily here is making some headway, right? So there's a slight little reversal in the works here. I just want to see if I can catch it on the weekly. Battle on time frames. All right. So in technical analysis, when there's a battle on the time frames, you wait for clarity. I mean, that's what I'm doing. Wait for clarity. There is no clarity. There's a battle on the time frames. Longer term time frames are saying possibilities of going down more. Shorter term time frame, because you can't really go past the daily. Well, there's a little bit of progress. It's just sideways, but there's a little bit of progress because it took out these highs from March. So there's a little bit of progress happening here. Moving averages are starting to curl up on the daily. It's a little bit better of a look here on the short-term time frame. So again, 78, $80, that area, Wouldn't surprise me one bit. So that's the deal. And yellow cake is getting crushed too, right? Western talked about this inverse head and shoulders look. Where the heck was it on the daily? I had the thing, right? It's coming back to test the level. And in my previous videos, I said I will be looking to be a buyer in this area. I still think along those lines. I still want to add to this position a little bit. You know, United States, they've got some good things going on here. So this inverse head and shoulders, while it's still slightly valid, I mean, the weekly, it's still valid, right? It's just tough. Everything is like kind of. We have to wait and see. Obviously, right? The geopolitical stuff is getting crazy. Let's just see what Yellow Cake is doing. Yeah, and Yellow Cake looks exactly like Western. Pretty funny. But buyer support there. They're holding this level. Interesting. All right, so that's the deal. Some damage was done today overall. But the buyers did step in, so let's just keep that as our little hopium for now, and see what happens with these levels down here. Over and out.